Good morning. Good morning. I don't know. I think we had a little intro music going on, but I'm not quite sure that that's.
Yeah. Hey, sorry, I was just pulling everybody up. Let me start it off here.
All
GM,
right. That's
GM, y'all. Good to be here.
Hey, Ryan. Thank you for coming. Welcome.
Good to be here.
Fantastic. All right. So we'll get the music pumping. We'll get some people just rolling in here. Maybe a little retweet in Discord and whatever.
I'm still trying to pull the little noun show up here. Whoever's on the account, maybe you might want to leave and try rejoining.
I think it's Crusher, and I think he joined on his laptop. I'm not sure that that works.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, Twitter hasn't released that feature yet, so
All right. We'll just get it
small
on.
small indie dev team, but hopefully desktop will be available at some point.
Small indie dev team. I love that. For better or worse.
Well, good morning, everybody. How we feeling? Crusher, Cardno, April, Mr. Ryan Carson, Toady.
GM guys, all good. Looking
Gee,
forward to this space. It's going to be a good one.
Feeling
absolutely.
good.
Welcome, Ryan. We're thrilled to have you, man.
Thanks. This is an honor. This is really fun. So I'm excited to hang out.
Yeah, it's a special show. It's we adjusted for 9:30, so thank you everybody who adjusted for our normal hours. And the special show, obviously, we have you, Ryan. So thank you very much. I think we have a little housekeeping to take care of. If you want to do that really quick, April, and then we'll get rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome everyone to this very special edition of the Little Noun Show. If we have some new listeners here, we are a weekly Twitter space for the Little Nouns community, and you can find us every Monday at 6 p.m. EST on the Nouns Square, the home of Twitter spaces and much more for the Nouns ecosystem. So yeah, there were just a couple of things that I wanted to really quickly highlight before we dive into things today. Firstly, we will be giving out a PopUP as we do every show, roughly about halfway through, so listen out for that one. And then secondly, we are also going to be giving away a little noun this show and 0.042 ETH for the culture. So if you feel so inclined, please go and share the room, get your friends in here, and we will be pulling that at the end of the show. So I think that's it. English, back over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, April. So yeah, we have Ryan Carson, formerly of Proof, current founder 121G and host of the Daily Dose Show. Congratulations on that, Ryan. I think by any metric, it's a wild success. Whether we're measuring that in vibes, attendance, reputation. So
We should. We
I,
need.
I'm
We
I'm a
need
listener.
I appreciate that. We need official measurement for vibes. Like, how do we quantify that?
I
But
don't
y'all,
think we do.
I'm
Hearts. I don't know. Reactions.
hearts,
Yeah, I don't know.
emojis. I love it. I mean, I'm honored to be here, y'all, and blown away by the support of the Daily Dose community. I see so many dosers in the audience already. I love you all. Um, Sometimes you catch lightning in a bottle. It's lucky. You never know what's going to happen, and I'm just enjoying every second of it.
Yeah, absolutely. We see tons of people that set reminders. So obviously you didn't come alone. You brought your community, you brought your friends. So welcome, Daily Dosers. We're super stoked to have you. Yeah, thanks for coming aboard. So, speaking of which, obviously, you have your show and, you've been in the NFT community quite a while, but maybe you have some new listeners who have just listened, started with the Daily Dose, maybe some people from Little Nouns that don't know your background as well. So if it's okay with you, I'd like to get a little bit into your background, maybe what you did before Web3 and your journey into, leading up to Web3.
You bet. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll share a story. I'll keep it probably to like 120 seconds.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go way back in time. So was born in Colorado, and in 1987, my dad brought home an Apple IIe computer and changed my life forever. Um, I was like, what is that? And just started playing games on it. And over time, just fell in love with computers and the internet. I emailed my girlfriend in high school, and that just blew my mind that you could do that. And then we obviously saw the internet happen. Really in kind of '99 is when we really started using it. So
It's
study
funny you say
computers.
99 because that's my hallmark too, 98, 99, right around there. I think
Yeah,
it's mainly because we have started getting like broadband, and before that it was all dial up and it didn't really count. But once you got
yeah.
like the broadband, you were
Was
good to
like,
go.
whoa. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, one, and there's all these tools coming out like Net Zero in the United States, so you could use the internet for free. And then I went to college, and actually I studied chemistry first because I loved chemistry. And then like 2 weeks in after taking classes, I'm like, no, I don't want to do chemistry as a job. So I switched to computer science. And I figured, you know what, like if I can teach myself how to code, like I could build anything, right? And so and then my parents got divorced, and I was like, screw this. Like, I'm just gonna go move somewhere and get out of here. Right. So I watched Notting Hill, the movie. Let's see some hearts if Notting Hill is your favorite movie, or if you like Notting Hill. Oh, I'm seeing some hearts. So I have
So
three sisters,
Love
and I
it.
love I love I love rom-coms. I can't help myself. This is going to be longer than 120 seconds. Is that
no,
okay?
no, no, go ahead.
Okay,
The
okay.
stage is all yours. Yeah.
Just
It
not
sounds like a
pace.
good story. Go ahead.
Hopefully, it's a good story. So, all right. So I watched Notting Hill. I'm like, cool. I'm gonna move to London. It looks amazing. I'll meet Julia Roberts. Um, so,
I'm gonna move across the country just for Julia Roberts. Yeah.
and I mean, I remember one moment which was so poignant. Like, so my mom dropped me off at Denver National Airport, and you could walk to the gate at this point. This is like 2000, 2001, and she was sobbing. And I'm like, Mom, like, stop crying. Like, I'm gonna come back. It's gonna be fine. And she said, Ryan, you're gonna meet a girl, and you're never gonna come back. I was just like, wow, Mom, that's kind of intense, but don't worry, I'll be back. And so anyway, I went to England and got a job as a web developer. I knew one person in the whole country. And I'll tell you, like, there's nothing like moving to a foreign country and not knowing anybody that will completely change your worldview. So that was interesting. That's another long story. I won't go into it. But anyway, started building websites. And
Okay.
then where this really started off and like my love for community, like I think began was we started a meetup, and it was called By Designers for Designers. I met a friend at church. I used to be like a church guy. And we started meeting up and talking about web design. We met in a bar. We invited some friends. We called it By Designers for Designers, or Creative Fight Club. And like 30 people showed up. And I was like, whoa. I mean, we had drinks, and we had a
That's a pretty good
projector.
turnout. 30.
I
That's more than
know,
I thought.
especially in like 2002, where like there's no social media, right?
Right.
So anyway, we're meeting up, and I'm just realizing, God, I love like connecting with people. I love encouraging people. Like, this community is great. And then so we started doing these in places around the world. Like, so because I didn't have kids or a wife or any commitments, so I had infinite free time. So we would, go to other cities like on the weekends, like Rome or Paris or Manchester, and we'd hold these events in like grungy bars, and this movement launched. And then we eventually said, hey, anybody can run a By Designers for Designers event, or BD40. We'll put it on the website. And there was like something like 48 of these events in 8 different countries. And it was a blast. And this is what I learned, is like building a network and building a strong friendship network is the most valuable thing you can possibly do. So I
Agree.
started building out my network then. And that's like why I know, people. That's why I met Kevin Rose and Gary Vaynerchuk and Mark Zuckerberg and Evan Williams. Like, I met all these people because I started a network back then. So
Right.
fast forward, right? I'm reading a magazine. That's this amazing magazine called Create. I go to a coffee shop every Saturday, buy it. And in the front cover, there's this woman named Jillian, and she's the editor. And the magazine ends up doing a story on us because
A A story on us being who?
BD40 or by designers for
Okay,
designers.
got it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was kind of blowing up, and we didn't make any money or anything. It was just for fun. So they did this big story on us, which blew my mind. And then I emailed the reporter and said, "Hey, will this magazine sponsor the event? Because we have no money." So, and he's like, "I don't know. Like, email the editor." And I was like, "Holy shit, the editor! Like, that's like being told to email the editor of Vogue or something." I was like, that person's never going to talk to me. And so I emailed Jillian and I said, will you sponsor the event? She was like, no. I was
like, your dreams shattered. You're like,
I was like, oh
just email the editor. Fantastic.
And so she shattered my dreams. But then she replied and said, hey, but like my job is to, keep a pulse on the industry. Like, why don't we have coffee sometime? And I was like, holy shit, what? So I was like, okay, let's meet and have coffee, and this is the biggest meeting of my life, right, at this point. And so I get all prepared. I'm all nervous. And I'm like, okay, how am I going to know what you look like? Because this is like pre-social media. And she's like, well, I'll carry a copy of the magazine, and I'll walk in the coffee shop.
This kind of sounds like a rom-com, by the way.
I know.
Just so you know.
Get ready, it gets better. So anyway, so I'm on Tottenham Court Road in London at Coffee Republic, and I'm waiting by the door, nervous as hell. And in walks this woman with a magazine. And first of all, I was nervous, and second of all, I was more nervous because she was also beautiful. And I'm like, oh no, like,
oh no, yeah.
All right, focus. And so anyway, we have this meeting, and I thought I was super cool because I had a Palm Pilot with a keyboard, and so I was taking notes, thinking I was super sexy and cool. And after the meeting, she's like, well, hey, do you want to grab a drink? And I'm American, right? And British people, I was still trying to figure them out. So I was like thinking, what does that mean? Like,
right. Like for us, it definitely means that you want to,
is this like a date?
Right. Exactly.
What is happening? Right. And so I'm like, holy shit. So I think about a great bar to take her to and take her to the bar, and we laugh and have a good time. And nothing like crazy happens, just laugh and have a good time. And then I drop her off at the tube station, and I'm thinking, this is my moment. Like, what do I do? Do I shake her hand? Do I hug her? Do I kiss her cheek? And the tube like it rushes up, the air, fills the station, and the doors open. I'm like, okay, it's go time. And I'm like, ah, and then I like kind of lurch toward her and like sort of like shake her hand and sort of hug her and sort of kiss her, and I end up kissing her neck by mistake. And I'm like,
of course.
Oh my God, that was the worst thing ever. Like I just ruined my career and my future, love life here. And I thought she's never going to talk to me again. And we got married.
Wow. So, no way. So this is the rom-com.
So, yeah. So
Ryan, now can you do your meet cute with Kevin Rose?
Kevin and I had a similar experience. It was really special. There was music playing. No, I mean, so like all that leads up to, okay, how did I get here, right? And everybody has a story, right? And that's why I love hearing people's stories, because there's so much to people that we never know, and we always assume. And this is why I constantly go on about kindness. Like, we just don't know what's going on in people's lives, right? And I think if we could all be a little kinder and assume people are carrying heavy, burdens, like, I just think the world would be better. And so like lead on, to like, okay, I had got into tech, right? And launched a bunch of companies and sold companies, and there was major ups and downs, right? Like, so the story's taking way too long. So I'll wind it down. But so eventually I'm in the UK, and then I quit my job as a web developer. I'm married now and launched my first company. It was a tool to send large files, like, because in 2004 you couldn't do that. And I built, I called it Dropbox, hilariously. And then Dropbox came out and had way more.
I was going to say, not the same Dropbox, right? I was like, did I miss something here? Or?
It was literally the same thing. It was so funny. Okay. And I bootstrapped it, and they raised a ton of VC, and they crushed me basically. And so I built a small service. We racked our own servers, and I wrote all the code, and ended up being acquired, but for more like, a new kitchen money versus a new life money.
Right.
So kind of fast forward, building businesses, and decided, the world would be better if more people could code and didn't have to, pay $50,000 for a computer science degree. And so I became obsessed with, teaching as many people code as I could. So we launched in-person teaching first, literally teaching code and workshops in IRL. And then we did conferences, and then in conferences, how I met Gary and Kevin and everybody, because I invited him to speak on my stage. Um, and so the moment I met Kevin, I literally emailed, I think it was like Kevin@dig.com, and said, "Hey, do you want to speak at my conference?" And he was like, "Sure." And this was 2006. And so
Okay.
we met on stage right before he went on, and hit it off and became really good friends. And we're the same age. We both studied computer science. Like, we have all these weird similarities. So,
Right.
fast forward to, in the end, my last company was acquired last December, and he started Proof, and I was like, "Let me join, man. Let me help you boot this thing up." And then that's where all the wild Web3 adventure began.
So that was the beginning of the adventure. It wasn't like Gary V or anybody kind of shilling it or turning you on to the idea. It was your connection with Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin has this amazing ability to see the future, right? He's always early. And so he was bothering me the whole time. We both lived in Portland, Oregon. Like, he's like, "Hey, pay attention." So I bought Bitcoin way back in 2011, right? And I lost it all in Mt. Gox, but that's another story. But so I was messing around with crypto. I actually made my own ERC20 just to see if I could do it. And then I started playing around with Ethereum when Kevin really got into it. And and then when I heard his podcast, it was with DC Investor, and DC explained what an NFT was. I was
Hmm.
driving my car and I literally had to pull over, and I was like, "Holy shit! Like, this is going to change the world." So then I just went all in.
Right on, right on. And I know, we have a little bit of a time limit here, and I was going to get a little bit into maybe what you did at Moonbirds, just but for time's sake, maybe your decision to leave, Proof and Moonbirds and
Yeah.
start the 121G. I guess the idea behind that, and what's I guess your motivations or your hopes, aspirations, anything of that sort.
Yeah. So it's, I'm an entrepreneur at heart, right? A founder. And so I hopped in Proof. Kevin was full time at True Ventures, so I said, let me help build the team. Let's launch a couple things. And we, when we launched Moonbirds, we had no idea how big it was going to be, and we
It was
thought,
insane, dude. That week, the first 2 or 3
I
weeks
know,
was insane.
two
I've
a
never seen anything
quarter
like.
of $1 billion in volume in 4 days. Like, just mind bending, right? And we didn't know that was going to happen. And I think afterwards, and I had asked Kevin, "Hey man, I can I start a fund on the side, because I really wanted to start investing in NFTs from a venture capital standpoint." He's like, "Sure, go for it." But it became clear, like, when Moonbirds went to the moon, and it was clear Proof was going to be a huge company, and I was going to have to move to LA with Kevin and Justin. We just had a come to Jesus talk, and I was like, "You know what? Like, I'm a founder deep at heart. Like, why don't I step down? I'll cheer you on from the side. You all can build this huge company, and I'm just going to go run my funds and build some things on my own." And we all said, "Great, fine." Um, and so, and we're still really good friends today. And my fund owns a bunch of Moonbirds, et cetera. So the fund was launched, and like, brutally hilarious timing, right? So I announced it like end of April, raised $40 million in 7 days. But when I came to call the capital, which was like a couple months later, because the machinery was finally ready to accept funds, I had 36 million backed out because everybody had lost their money,
Yeah.
right? So 121G is a small $4 million NFT fund. So I've learned a ton through that. And then we've deployed capital over 30 projects, and I get to see the inside of all these projects. And then through that, it became crystal clear that we could do something bigger and more exciting. And that is what we're building towards with the Daily Dose. And it's just so fun. Like, I just having the time of my life. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, very cool. I saw that. I think 121G picked up some Zags, some Zen chests from
Heck
our
yeah.
friend Roy Zanico. We had him on the show, and
I mean,
we're super bullish on him. We love him, and it's nice to see you picking out
oh
communities
my
that are
God.
doing good in the space.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, let's all bet on Roy. Like he's an amazing human, super
I'm not passing
smart.
on it. Yeah,
Like he's just amazing. So yeah, I'm all in on Zen Academy, 100%.
yeah. And Crusher's a financial advisor in real life, and I think he had a couple questions.
Oh yeah, his
And
hand goes up.
he's a DGen too, so I think he
Okay,
had a couple questions regarding 120G. Crush,
let's
go ahead, buddy.
do it.
Yeah, thanks, English, and yeah, hey Ryan, I and just so you know, yeah, my degenning, I have to take that financial advisor hat completely off. So it's so this is not
I
financial
imagine.
advice. This is not. But anyway, yeah, I really just wanted to ask, and I love the idea of the VC fund, and I think it's great, and I think it's interesting that you have built it, around the securities laws too, just to be compliant. Just I think that's very, very forward thinking. One of the things I'm kind of curious about is obviously in the NFT community, Web3, a lot of a lot of the utility of it is just the engagement in the communities. And is there a way that you're conveying that to your investors, through, updates, notifications, or is there a way that you're passing that along to
Yeah.
your investors?
Gosh, that is the question. So 121G is a 4-year closed-end fund. So we're already thinking in 4-year time blocks. So we're very long term. So I don't trade at all. And actually, I'm a very bad trader. I prefer to buy into a good team and hold. So what I've told my investors, over and over again is we're gonna find good teams and we're gonna deploy capital and then we're gonna hold. So there's not a lot of updates to give them, honestly, because we're not trading out of any of our positions. So it's pretty straightforward. Everybody is worried. Like almost everything is down, even good projects, right? So, our Moonbird investment is down bad. I'm not worried at all. I keep telling my investors, long term, I think this is going to play out very well. Our Q4 investments are basically flat or maybe a little bit up. And I just keep telling them, y'all, this is all about having a long-term perspective by betting on teams that have experience, that have capital to get through the bear, and are very mentally elastic. So that's the way I approach it. And I think that's the only way I can approach it with authenticity and effectiveness.
Yeah, very good. Crush, did you have another question, or that was it?
That's it. Well, and we can get more into this, and I don't know if we're going to tie into our little project here, the little nouns or nouns in general. But given that you're so focused on securities laws and making sure that the I's are dotted and T's crossed, how do you feel about the DAO structure and what we're doing? Because a lot of what we're doing is proliferation in Web3 and awareness and it's obviously a completely different structure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a believer that DAOs should be an LLC, if they want to be really careful, right? And they can only have, 100 members max. And so I tend to go on the, I want to be really careful side of things. However, like I think DAOs are the investment vehicle of the future, right? And I think we'll see more and more and more of them. I'm a big fan of Syndicate, for instance, that allows you to spin up a DAO in one click. And so I love what you all are doing. I mean, just look at this space. Like it's positive. You're investing in the community. Like what could be better than that? And so I'm bullish on it. I do think there's a lot of regulatory clarity that we need to get before I feel comfortable, digging in, especially from the fund level. But I can't wait to see where this goes, especially because it's transparent. I mean, we could see on the blockchain exactly what's happening with the DAO, which is awesome.
Yeah, and I'm just going to make a side note. Cardno's Wi-Fi got rugged right before the show, and he was pretty bummed out that he wasn't going to get to chime in as much. I know that he did a lot of the legwork to get you on the show and build that relationship. So big shout out to Cardno, and just figured to give him a shout out there.
Yeah,
a lot of love, buddy.
Cardno, thanks for that so much. I do have like a little surprise. Do you mind if I drop it?
Yeah, go for it. We love surprises.
Okay, a little fun surprise. So occasionally when I do a show with other people, I love to drop a POAP. And so I know you all are dropping POAP too. So there's like lots of POAP fun here. But I know the Daily Dosers love a POAP. So I've got one for everybody today. And that was awesome. A little tune. So right now, you can mint with the secret word little nouns. It's actually hard to say. LILNOUNS. One word, no caps, no spaces. So have fun, everybody. Hope you get that.
I'm glad you did that, not only because it's great for our audience and great for everybody and a lot of fun to have a surprise, but usually I miss my own POAPs because I'm usually talking or or giving it. And then I'm scrambling
No.
at the end of the show. I'm like, Cardinal, what is it? What is it? Real quick. And I'm like, damn, I missed the window. So I got that one. That was super awesome of you. You're a rock star, Ryan. Thank
Woo-hoo.
you so much.
No problem. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to surprise. So
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And you say you're a founder at heart, and I think that's a great segue for what you're doing over at the Daily Dose, and maybe you want to talk a little bit about that, your vision. I
sure.
think just from listening to your show, you said you have something coming for Q3 of next year. What is it? Is it how many of the collection? Anything of that nature?
Okay. So, as I sort of, summarized all of my experience running companies and then joining Proof and then running a fund, um, it just became really clear to me that we could do something really big and really exciting that would lift the whole space up. And so started to plan it, and it is a project, but it's much bigger than like a typical NFT project. So we've been putting all the groundwork in place, and then I saw what G Money did with POAPs, and I thought, God, that's what a cool mechanic for an allow list. Like reward your true community that has been with you and engaged and contributed. And then I have an amazing associate in the fund. His name is John. He likes to stay on the down low, doesn't like to be in the spotlight. But he said, like, why don't we start dropping POAPs? Like, why don't we do it? And why don't we do it on like a Twitter space? And I was like, oh my God, that'd be so fun. Um, and I and then I realized, you know what? Every day we talk about the market as a fund. Like we review our numbers, we review the market trends, we review the news, and I was like, why don't we just do this as a show? Because this is good information, and I need to talk about it anyway. So let's do a Twitter show, Twitter space. And I think I did my first one like in the car on the way home from the airport just for fun. I called it NFT Daily Dose. And I think we had some like 800 people show up, and it was just a blast. Like I had a really good time. And I want to give credit to my early co-hosts, Mech and Stacky Robinson. They really helped me, do that. And then we started doing it more and more. And then I thought, what, I'm gonna do this every day, Monday to Friday, 10:30 a.m. To 11:30 a.m. Eastern. And let's make it a good show. Let's have segments. Let's run it professionally. And and then we dropped our first POAP, and the first POAP was claimed. I think it was 10 times. Like there was a 10 supply. I didn't know how big it would be. And yesterday on the show, we had, I think we're up to 6,600 listeners of that show, and we dropped. I think the POAP was maybe 4,000, minted 4,000 times.
That's crazy.
So and that's since October like 26th. Like this, I've never seen anything like it. So that's what we're doing.
It's Moonbirds all over again, but for POAP.
I feel like we're single-handedly like crushing the infrastructure of POAP, like because it is struggling to hold on. And so we're gonna do 200 more shows until the mint next year. I think the mint is probably going to be late Q3, and there's 799 spots in the allow list. It's a free mint, and we're just building this amazing community.
Yeah, and I think April had a question regarding POAPs and what you're doing and just what vision. So if you want to go ahead, April.
Yeah, Ryan, honestly, the POAPs have been going crazy. Like, honestly, people have been losing their minds. I have a lot of group chats, which are just like for like 15 minutes every day. It's like POAP Central. But what I
So
was
it's
going
not
to
just
ask
me.
you.
Literally, like I have 3 alpha groups, and like they start pinging it right about. And I
Yeah.
know because I'm at the gym, and it's like, here's the code, here's the code.
I know, it's hilarious. Oh my God.
But on the back of that, what I was wondering is, obviously you're creating this digital network right now with the PopUps, which is amazing. And then I think it was yesterday or the day before I saw that photo of you at Art Basel getting the 90cc shirt scanned by, I think, what, like 10 people around you. And I
I
I
felt
just
molested.
wanted, yeah, it looked a little bit like that. It looked a little bit like
It was
that.
a little bit like that, but we got through it. So
I was just wondering, like, has that sort of got the cogs turning a little bit in your brain? Like, how are you thinking about sort of that next level of this networked product and how that might sort of come to play into things as we move forward in the space?
Good question. Let me make two comments. So uh, it's funny that people are farming the PopUps, but also I do want the community to know that we're working on some plans to make sure that folks that are truly like contributing to the Daily Dose community um, get rewarded for that. And I don't mean like some secret allow list or secret things happening. We're going to be doing some things over the next week that will, make it even easier for folks that are truly contributing to get those POAPs. So I want to say that, number one. But we're also going to say farmers are going to farm, and that's fun and that's great. And we have no problem with that, but I do want to make sure people that are attending the show and really engaging, are able to get POAP. So that's thing one. Thing two is I'm so bullish on this idea of POAPs and geolocated NFTs and augmented reality and physical tokenized products. Like this is just going to be so fun, right? Like in the future, all of us are going to be walking around with tokenized items of clothing. We're going to have, AR capabilities, and as you experience real life, like you're going to end up discovering, these little treasure troves of NFTs, and then when you build these communities, you're going to come together physically and unlock new NFTs and experiences, and I just can't wait to see that. And we're beginning to see this, right? Like the hilarious picture of me in the park, getting scanned. That's like this is like going back to 97 and using the internet, right? It didn't work very well. It's kind of kludgy, but look at where we are now. It's a very exciting future that we're walking into.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. April, go ahead. I saw you unmute real quick.
No, I was just going to say I couldn't agree more. I think there's like so much potential for where this could all go, and I think it's going to be a really exciting next 12-18 months as we see like individuals and projects like really start experimenting with some of this stuff. I picked up a 90cc shirt on secondary yesterday because I had like major FOMO about it, and I'm like really battling with whether to claim it or to whether to vault it. But I think I'm gonna have to get it. I'm gonna have to wear it.
It depends where you live too. Like, I mean, I could walk around my hilarious little small village and no one would care or know that my shirt can mint NFTs. So, but if I was walking around New York City, maybe that'd be more fun. So it all depends.
Yeah, very good. I know that we're at the top of the hour. How much time do we have left with you, Ryan?
I can go for probably a couple more minutes.
Okay, well, this is probably a good time. Cardno, April, Crusher, whoever's in control, you want to do our POAP and maybe so it's just for fun, obviously. You already dropped yours, Ryan, and we really appreciate that. So April or Cardno, you want to take that?
Yeah, I don't mind trying to take it, but be wary that I may rug because I'm on cellular service. So yeah, thanks Ryan for dropping your POAP, and like say we do, well, like April said, we do our own weekly one, and we've got one to commemorate you coming on our show today. So the secret word is all one word, all lowercase. It's Ryan with littles. And you are right, Ryan. It is actually quite hard to say littles in a way that everybody understands as well.
It sounds nice the way you say it. Littles.
Littles.
I can't do that.
That's right. Yeah. Usually I have to get English to like repeat what I say for like our American audience.
Well,
that Welsh accent paying off, Cardno.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we already know Ryan's kind of an Anglophile over here, so he has
full on. I mean, my family is 75% British, right? So I'm all in. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah.
All about Ash. Love it.
All right, so secret word Ryan with Lil, so that's
Ryan
RYA. Yeah, go ahead.
RyanWithills. And just a reminder that at the top, at the end of the show, we'll also be giving away some a small amount of ETH and a little noun as well.
So yeah, we'll do our second segment of the show, and we have coming up, we have Little Dot, part of the founding team of Little Nouns that forked off of Nouns, and we'll get into that. We have the giveaway of a little noun, and we have a little bit of ETH, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, very good. Well, Ryan, you've been amazing. You have great stories. You're an amazing addition to this space. I look forward to listening to you every day at the gym. And thank you for coming on. I don't know if any of our guests or anybody has any final words before you head off, but I greatly appreciate it, man.
I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for being welcoming and kind and friendly, and just a joy to be here. And thanks for listening to my Hugh Grant story. I appreciate it. We'll see you on the Daily Dose.
Thanks for coming on, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. Always got time for a Hugh Grant story or movie.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah,
really appreciate
for
it.
what it's worth, I think it was the best part of the show. So amazing story. Yeah, take care, buddy.
That was really cool, guys. It was so nice to hear from Ryan. Great storyteller.
I think I fat fingered something. You guys hear me now?
I think you
You're
muted
okay.
everybody.
Yeah, you hit the mute all.
Yeah,
Oh,
all
did
right.
I? Oops. All right. So yeah, so very good. So do we have Little Dot on stage?
I just wanted to say, like, before everyone leaves, we're very happy for everyone to be here with us on the Little Nouns show, and I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about what Little Nouns is all about. So,
Yeah,
for
very
starters, what is Little Nouns? Well, Little Nouns is a fork of noun style tasked with one thing and one thing only, exposing as many people to nouns as possible. And it does this in two ways. One way is through purchasing nouns. We have 12 to date, and our holders have shared ownership of one of the largest nouns voting blocks in the entire ecosystem. And the other way is by proliferating the nounish meme, which is essentially marketing little nouns, and nounish values to as many people as possible. And we do this by collectively voting to fund builders who propose cool ideas to our DAO. We currently have a treasury of around 430 ETH to allocate to the best ideas. And the 12 nouns that we hold also let us support builders up to Nounstar, where they can receive upwards of like thousands of ETH for their ideas. And these two ways converge into making Little Nouns the best entry point to the nouns ecosystem from both a holders and builders perspective.
So Dot,
And if you're a builder, sorry.
Go ahead, continue. No, continue.
Okay, if you're a builder and you want to get involved, check us out at littlenouns.wtf. We mint one little noun every 15 minutes via auction, and the last one I believe went for 0.15 ETH. Our minting cadence is in contrast to Nouns' one-a-day auction cadence. So we're like the faster, cheaper, out of control version of Nouns, but with numbers comes strength. In that we have lots of builders and lots of holders, and a very strong, large community.
Yeah, I think.
And if you want to have
a
feel
my
first,
question with that. Go ahead.
And if you want to have a feel first before minting a little noun, you're more than welcome to join our Discord and chat with Little Nouners. Have a look at what we funded at littlenouns.wtf/vote and prop.house/little-nouns, and look at any ideas that we're looking to fund at littlenouns.wtf/proplot. And I'm going to right now attach a little refresher thread that we just wrote up.
So we're pinning that
How
to
do
the
we
top.
do
Is that
this?
what we're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you go to just share on the top right, and then there should be a feature that says share to Twitter Space.
Yeah. So that thread is like a little more detailed breakdown of what I just said. Included some examples of things we funded. The ideas that we funded that we've listed on that thread, it's not limited to just like cool IRL tangibles. We fund anything we collectively deem will push the brand forward. Little Noun Show is actually an example of something we funded. We're having a really good time on right now.
Yeah. No, thank you
so
for supporting us with your votes.
We found you guys, by the way. You guys are absolutely crushing it.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
All
Yeah, all
right.
good, English.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I was playing around a little bit too much, and I worried that I muted myself. But Dot, I think a lot of people are familiar with nouns, just whether it's the nouns classes or obviously the ecosystem, and obviously we're a fork of that little nouns. You want to talk a little bit about your inspiration of why you decided to get together with the founding team and create this fork?
Yeah. So yeah, it was just I think it was curiosity that really led me to wanting to build Little Nouns and then finding the team to ship it. I minted my first NFT last September, and then through that found Loot, which was my second NFT. Entered Loot, became mod at Loot, and through Dom became Nouns Pilled. Started hanging around in Nouns, and then thought, okay, this system's really cool. Let me just learn Solidity, learn React, and just ship something for fun. And that thing that I wanted to ship for fun, after talking to nouners and nounders about how to ship and what to ship, kind of turned into Little Nouns DAO.
Yeah, very good.
And the
I
founding
got
team
into
kind of formed through the process of just like the process of iteration and asking people like, what do you think is good and a cool thing to ship.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I got into it, I think many other people in Little Nouns, and I know that our co-hosts here, just because it's an easy price point, but there tends to be a lot of delivery, and we are a one-to-one fork, right, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of how we do things.
Yeah, so yeah, in the end, we ended up deciding to make a one-to-one fork, and a cheaper entry into Nouns DAO, and that became Little Nouns.
Yeah,
So
very
one-to-one
good.
fork, everything is the exact same except for the artwork and the auction cadence.
Yeah, cheers. April, I see you got your hand up. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to be a real world example of what Dot is saying. So, I mean, I think you touched on it there, English. So, I mean, I really sort of dove into the Nouns ecosystem after the Moonbird CC0 announcement. I was just like super curious about, like, I'd heard about Nouns. I kind of thought I knew what CC0 meant, and then I was like, okay, well, where's the like leading CC0 project in the space? And obviously that was Nouns. And yeah, I mean, the ecosystem is so large. Nouns, you look when you're like on the outside and you see the price point, and it can be intimidating, but I guess Little Nouns is just a really open community where you can just jump in the Discord. You can actually like participate and see actually how all of this governance functions and experience it yourself, have a go, mint like on the auction, and you get to sort of take part in all of those functions in quite an easy and accessible way. So I just think it's a really fantastic entry point for anyone, even just if you're interested in how DAOs work, how governance works. It's a fantastic place to get started. And I think Dot's done a fantastic job of sort of bringing people in and educating so many more people on how these sort of things can work, and inspired a lot more sub DAOs on the back of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of easy kind of entry points into Nouns or Little Nouns, we do have Prop House. And did we ever get a chance to get SQ up here, or are we gonna have Al or Dot talk a little bit about Prop House?
We don't have SQ now, but I mean, more than happy to chat about Prop House.
Yeah. So normally SQ handles Prop House or takes care of it for the most part. But Al, if you want to just talk a little bit about Prop House, what are the advantages? Do you have to hold to get funded? Anything like that?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we love Prop House. We've been honestly doing it since the inception of the project here. So we're on our, what is this? Our 14th round, maybe? We're currently doing a random act of kindness, which is a fun little round, and we're just giving away 10 little nouns. But I guess to give context of how Prop House works in general, it is very similar to like an on-chain proposal where you can go up and submit a proposal idea. Differentiating from a little nouns on-chain proposal, you do not need any little nouns to propose to Prop House. So you just need an Ethereum address, a good idea, and the ability to try to rally support around your idea. I believe there is a 5 to 7 day submission window, and then once the submissions close, all little nouns get to vote one little noun per idea per token, and you get to basically just go out, distribute your little noun votes depending on which your favorite ideas are, and then once that voting window closes, we historically had just been funding 10 ETH per round for the last like 10 rounds or 13 rounds or whatever it has been. But yeah, it's been a super fun way to just kind of like get the community involved, try to like hear about what everybody's building, and it's like a quick, easy way to try to deploy funding to new builders.
Yeah, and I think that we put that into the top. So just for our listeners, obviously we have the little ETH giveaway, we have a little nouns giveaway, but if you're a builder in this space, and I kind of get the gut feeling that there's people who listen to the Daily Dose outside of the Little Nouns community currently listening that might have a skill set, whether it's graphic design, whether it could be a Twitter space like that we do over here, marketing, anything of that. You have a great idea, you want to get involved into Web3, you want to get paid for it, ideally and compensated for your time. Feel free. You don't even have to be a holder. You can go to Prop House, throw up your idea, and come into the Discord, Little Nouns Discord, and you could talk a little bit about it. SQ, who was meaning to be here but obviously couldn't make it, he runs the Twitter Spaces as well about prop houses, so you can engage there, talk about your prop, and kind of explain it to the community as well. So a lot of opportunities at Nouns, Little Nouns, and yeah, very good.
And we should say that there is like Prop House is such a utilized tool at the moment, not just for Lil Nouns and Nouns, but outside of the ecosystem as well. So other DAOs can go and use that platform as well if they want to sort of distribute funding in the same way. And I think like we've seen so many fantastic projects and fantastic builders get their start in Prop House. So if you're curious, definitely go and check it out and take a look at some of the things that have been proposed, some of the things that have got funded, and what people are up to now on the back of it.
It's also a very flexible platform as well, in the sense that it's infrastructure that you can use however you like to reward your builders, whereas Lil Nouns has done ETH rewards for most of your rounds. The past 2 rounds, the one that is currently in voting and the one that actually just opened for props, one of them is called A Random Act of Kindness, and the other one's called Ideation with Graduation, Crowdsourcing Ideas. Both of these, the rewards are Little Nouns, so that's also possible on Prop House. In fact, Uma House, the collection that was spearheaded by Ben, and they're doing basically a prop house for David Horvath's collection of Umas. They do their entire emission of their collection based on prop house. So you have to put a prop in to grow the community, and if you win one of the 5 slots for that round, you get to mint one of the next round of Uma. So lots of really creative ways to use the platform, and I'm interested to see Little Nouns experimenting with using Little Nouns as well as ETH to incentivize people.
Yeah, Prop House actually has a new proposal up on NounsDAO right now. So if you go to nouns.wtf/vote/183, it's the most recent prop that got submitted. You can take a read of what's coming.
Also, I just wanted to mention that SQ's soapbox that he does here every week to talk about Prop House is today at 2 p.m. EST, so in 4 hours' time.
Which it reminds me to thank Nouns Square over here. They host our show. They also host a bunch of Nounish communities as well. So if you want to give them a follow and learn a little bit more about Nouns and the Nouns community, follow over there, Nouns Square. And so appreciate you guys very much.
Thank you, guys. And I just want to say to you guys knocked this out of the park. The Littles who have been doing the Little Nouns show have just been doing such an incredible job. Getting Ryan Carson on the show today was such a great way to get exposure for both Nouns and the Nouns Square and Little Nouns. I just saw that we had a bump in like 300 followers just from this show alone. So just wanted to thank you guys for really killing it, for getting awesome guests and doing an awesome job with your content. We're a good team.
Yeah, I was going to say it's been mutually beneficial, and we really appreciate you guys. I know we're coming up close to the hour. I don't know, Cardinal, did you want to do the giveaway, or Crusher, were you in contact
English?
with that?
We do have 41 on the stage. I'm not sure if you wanted to say something, one of the founders of Nouns.
Yeah, absolutely. Love to have it. 4156. What's going on, bud?
Hey. Yeah, thanks for having me up. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you. So do you want to introduce yourself to? I know we have a lot of daily dosers here, so they may or may not know who you are. So if you want to Just give a
Oh
quick
yeah, sure.
introduction. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean they probably do, but I'm just gonna crossing our T's and dotting our I's. Yeah.
yeah. I'm one of the co-creators, co-founders of Nouns. Originally, kind of like assembled the team based on a kind of white paper I put out on Twitter a year and a half ago, and we've been building up the project ever since. The reason I wanted to come up here was I just wanted to put in kind of a quick plug for like the value of building public goods and the value of building public infrastructure in the space, which I think is just like super important for crypto adoption and generally a good thing to do. But like I think there's also a kind of really sort of obvious upside in doing that, and it's super apparent when you kind of like look around the nouns and little nouns community, right? Like and this is relevant with respect to the prop house as well. Like if you look around, this room right here, like little nouns kind of exists because nouns put all of its sort of infrastructure, all of its IP out into the public domain as a public good. The noun square kind of exists as a function of the nouns DAO, kind of like funding public goods with and asking for very little in return, and that's true with the prop house as well. And when you look around at all three of those things, they're all sort of like nouns branded, and they sort of like carry the nouns flag, and that kind of positive feeling that we all like, that then of course feeds back into that sort of like brand feeling and community feeling that you get around the project. So just for anyone that's listening, and it doesn't have to be with respect to the nouns ecosystem, but just thinking about your project in this sort of like very open way does pay dividends, and it does produce a really meaningful and positive ecosystem. So just wanted to share, I think, how important that is in the ecosystem to be funding and building those public goods.
Yeah, well said, and very much so. And as Ryan kind of alluded, how important it is to be kind. I know when we kicked off this show, we used a quote from you, and maybe you want to say that again, what it means to be nounish.
Oh yeah, should I read the quote, or I should just say it?
Yeah, just say it. It's your quote.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, I think nounish is a very interesting thing, because in a sense it's kind of like a moving target, and it's like the feeling that unites us around the community. Like what does it mean to be a good Christian or a good Jew, or like to there are words that sort of like embody all of the values that kind of a community can have, and so in my mind, being nounish, it has a certain set of qualities. Those might evolve, but I think one of them is sort of like embracing absurdity and the absurd. And I think this is kind of like reflected in like the way all the nouns characters are really goofy. And these things sort of relate back to kind of being in crypto for a long time, and just seeing it just sort of take itself so seriously. The whole like you must own Bitcoin. There's only 21 million. This sort of like very serious kind of toxic maximalism. I think nounishness kind of attempts to fly in the face of that, and says, let's be a little bit absurd. Let's not take ourselves too seriously. Let's give away our money like Mr. Beast or something, right? And like let's do fun things. So I think being absurd is an important quality of being nounish. Just giving things away with no expectation of return, for all the reasons I just talked about with respect to public goods. I think this is probably in the long term the way crypto ends up kind of growing out of what it is today, right? Which is really like, instead of kind of monetizing these negative externalities, like we're going to mine Bitcoin and keep the Bitcoins, and you guys can keep all the CO2. We take this view that like the only way we do well is by like helping other people do even better. And so I think that's another sort of like core principle of nounishness. And then the last one in that tweet is just like have fun, teach people about nouns and crypto, and have fun. So that's the whole sort of like proliferation side of nouns. And again, I think it's kind of based in these sort of first principles of where the space is today, and how many great things kind of exist within it, but then how few people learn about those things, because they end up learning about some of the sort of like seedier, sketchier stuff instead. And so I think kind of having fun and proliferating that feeling, and doing these absurd things and giving, all of these things kind of come together to form that sort of feeling of nounishness.
Yeah, and I think that's probably a good segue for us to maybe give away some money and give away a little noun.
I wanted to ask one thing to 4 and 5, 6. Do you feel like those principles are to be upheld by the protocol, or is it something that needs to be constantly reiterated up, like the social layer?
Yeah, it's interesting. I had a conversation about this with someone recently as well. I think it's like the protocol kind of like sets up the initial conditions, and then the social layer kind of like carries them out, right? So like, Bitcoin might be a good example of this. Like, maximalism exists because there's a 21 million coin limit, right? Or like absurdity in the nounish culture exists because the nouns look a certain way on chain. So I think the protocol, like, kind of gives like a push in a certain direction, and then if that protocol is kind of well designed, then I think there's sort of like value in the social layer, like, kind of taking the ball and running with it.
All right, very good. Did we have any more questions or anything for 4156? Thank you so much for jumping on. I know it was kind of unexpected, but it was a treat for us as well. So thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure. In general, I'm kind of more available earlier in the day. I'm so happy to jump on these whenever.
All right, fantastic. Well,
while I
maybe
have you
we'll
here,
reach out.
41, I saw your exchange back and forth with Hindsight. We had a debate scheduled for one of the props today at 5 p.m. and you mentioned you might be able to come if we moved it till 3 p.m. tomorrow. Is that doable? Because we can make that change basically right now, if that's good.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I'll dig in on the prop some more, do my homework, and then come prepared. Yep.
Sounds good. So debate of 181 will now be moved from 5 p.m. today till 3 p.m. tomorrow. I'll send out a tweet shortly. Thanks, 41.
All right, thank you guys. And if we have nothing else, maybe we'll do our giveaway now.
Sounds good. We ready?
Let's do it. Do we have any conditions? They still have to be in the space, and
yeah, and they have to like and retweet the tweet that's pinned at the top, the most recent tweet. And just while I'm letting people get one last chance to like and retweet that tweet, the tweet that's pinned before that is just part of the thread that Dot posted about little nouns. That has all the links. I would encourage any of you, if you want to check it out, come join the Discord, go to the auction site. The auctions can be very, very addicting. So I warn you, the minimum bid's 0.15. So for 0.15 ETH, you can get in the ecosystem and come vibe with us. It's a lot of fun. And just learn a little bit more about DAO structures and how little nouns work and nouns work and everything. So with that said, let me get this get the Twitter picker rolling here, and
we have a lot of people in the audience today. Are we they have to be in here, or how are we going to find them to make sure they're still here?
We're going to be scrolling, guys.
Yeah.
All right, get your thumb muscles working.
We'll be scrolling. So yeah, in fact, the Twitter picker's nice and jammed up here too. So
and maybe we can ask them to throw up like a heart emoji repeatedly so we can find them quicker.
Yeah, or if you just weren't a request to come up, we may not bring you up, but that would bring you to the top of the line so we can see you, and that would work as well. So
okay, so either or that works. So if you hear your name, request to speak or throw up some emojis and kind of like an SOS signal. And we'll get to you, and we'll get you your ETH, and we'll get you your little noun. So good luck to everybody.
Yep. So here we go. So we're going to do the 0.042 ETH first, and the winner of that is pretty risque. It's PRETTI risque. So congratulations to you.
Big congrats. All right, now the scrolling goes.
0.042, that'll get you almost a third of a way to a little noun. So if you so choose to spend it there. But now,
did we find them?
Yeah, I can see them throwing up the heart emojis there. So
all right,
I'll jump in the DMs. That's cool.
All right, congratulations. So Cardinal, who's the expert of jumping and sliding into people's DMs, will get to you.
He is the master.
He
So
is
here we
for
go.
sure.
So, and now we're going to give away a little noun, and let's roll with that. All right, hold on. Yep, keep ahead. Here we go. The winner is OXOX Twit. So, congratulations.
Zero X Twit. I love the soundboard. You got to come by more, Toady.
Yep. So good stuff. And I don't know if they're in the audience or not. Cardinal, did you find them?
Nope.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
You hate to see it.
We might have to re-roll here. Let's keep scrolling just to make sure. Either request or throw up like 1,000 emojis in a minute.
1,000.
So
You get
Chris, you get that re-roll going.
Yep, you have about 5
Sweet
seconds,
doing
and then
it.
I'm going to re-roll. So if we don't see you,
I see somebody doing it that's not named that, which is hilarious. I see you, Sweet.
Someone's
Alright.
down there at the very bottom throwing up so many emojis, and we're just like, sorry guys, time to re-roll.
All right.
So
everybody's throwing up decoy emojis.
All right, here we go. So the backup winner is Freedom 0780. So Freedom 0780. Let me see if
what if you need the third backup?
And freedom.eth is the
Come on, you got to be
name.
here.
So
Where's Freedom?
Freedom.eth is an awesome ENS.
It really is. But I don't
see them.
Nah, they're not in here. I just found an easy way to do this, actually. Once you get their name crusher, you can just go to their profile and see if they're in the space with the PFP.
I mean, we could just stay here all day and keep.
We can just keep rolling all day. So,
or eventually, we're gonna have to give it to someone. So maybe we should just give it to the first person we got.
So, okay, let's do it one more time. All right, let's do it one more time, and if the person's not in the space, and that'll be the rule. So if the third person's not in the space, we'll.
All right.
Yeah.
So the winner is Hood Rich. All right, drum roll. Hood Rich Saul or OX Ash, who I believe. Let's see. Of course, it doesn't tell me if he's in the space or not. Cardinal, can you see? Is he here? Is he here?
Cardinal, it's all on you. Is he here? Tell us.
You could just do the scroll and point method. That if you
I kind of want to give it to somebody that's still hanging around here, dude, to be honest.
What's the name? Say it one more time.
Hoodrich Sol, HOODRICHSOL, all one word.
Turns out doing retweet pickers with 1,300 people in the spaces is a bit.
No, yeah, they're not here.
A little bit. Yep. No, they're not here either.
Hey guys,
we go one more time, or
so I could scroll and just pick somebody randomly, but
I think you should do that. Yeah, I think that's a good way of doing it.
Just
whoever throws up the most heart, heart emojis.
By the way, guys, we've got Darlington here, a brand new noun or two. Hey, Darlington, just wanted to say hello from Monster Cats.
GM.
I have somebody picked up. I have somebody picked out. If that's what we're doing.
All right, let's go.
More times the charm.
Okay. So, and the winner is by total randomness, because I thought their PFP was kind of cute. FP. So FP, are you listening? Throw up a heart because I'm looking at you right now. Uh-oh. Everybody's throwing up hearts around FP, but FP. This is
just
terrible.
just slide in the DMs. Let's go.
Yeah, if we slide into their DMs, I can't see their profile, but yeah, happy days.
All right.
He's probably on a call with his boss right now. He's like, I can't talk.
All right. Well, FP, congratulations. Yeah, very good. And I'll just message them. Yeah. Or I
good stuff. All right. Well, thanks. Well, congratulations to our winners. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad I got to roll a lot. And actually, undisclosed, but I rolled Toady one time, so I had to re-roll, which was the pause. We cannot have Toady win.
Devs, do something. This is not fair.
Did you really roll
win
Toady?
anything.
I really rolled Toady. I can't make this up.
Well,
I mean,
Krisher,
I
at least
always
it
seem to
wasn't
roll
yourself
someone up
like
on
every
stage.
other time.
No, that only
That's it. I'm
one
unretweeting the
time.
room.
Tony, please.
And just in closing, I just again wanted to thank you guys, Little Nouns, for crushing it. The Little Nouns show is just an awesome thing, and this is not the normal time for the Little Nouns show as well. So just wanted to highlight that. Do you guys want to do a quick shout out of when you usually have your soapbox on the Noun Square and why
Yeah, I
today's
think
different?
so. April, take it away. Back to you.
Yes, so we are every week 6 p.m. EST on a Monday, and yeah, we're there every week with a Lil Noun show. Typically, we'll have a guest in the first half from outside our community to come in and hang out and share a little bit about what they're up to. We share a bit about what we're up to, and then the second half we have someone from the Lil Nouns community or the wider Nouns community and get a little update about what they're building and what they're working on. And yeah, usually it's a good time. We're always giving away a little bit of ETH and yeah, just hanging out. So please swing on by.
Sounds good. I'm actually going to pin a tweet here as well from the Little Noun Show account because I know Cardinal was having issues getting it up on the stage here. But if anyone's listening and you'd like to follow along, the Little Noun Show has a pinned tweet above there. You can follow by just clicking through there. And while you're at it, please follow us here at the Noun Square, the funny looking clock to my right here. And we do Twitter Spaces several times a week. We're up to 40 different Twitter Spaces that we're hosting per week. One every day at the end of the Nouns auction called Noun O'Clock Live. And then we have a number of other spaces for 16 different communities. We just did the math on that yesterday. So 16 different Nounish communities are running soapboxes here on the Noun Square on a day-to-day basis. So if you're looking to find your people, this is kind of what we're here for. You know, one of the nice things about Nouns is that, you know, you might find that you jive with Little Nouns, or you might find that you are into skateboarding culture and extreme sports, and ours might be the group that you find yourself relating to the most. So the Noun Square is a great place to drop in almost any time of the day and find your people within Nouns. So follow us here if you want to do some of that.
All right, I think we're going to call it there, and it's a wrap, guys. Thanks everybody for joining. Big shout out to Ryan .4156. It was a great show, and everyone enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers.
Have a good one, guys. Thank you.
Cheers, everyone.
Shout out, everybody.
Last one in the room gets a free massage from Lil Dot.
Unreal.
Yes.
You heard it here first. Make sure you DM Tony for that massage.
Is that why there are so many listeners in the Little Noun Show space?
That's right.
Massage promises.
Everybody could use the touch of a human being right now in this bear market.
You guys absolutely killed it today. Congratulations.
Crushing it. That's where he gets his name from, by the way.
Nope, no pun intended.
He really put a lot of pressure on himself, calling himself Crusher, but he's delivering.
Name checks out.
I do what I can.
Mr. Darlington, we'd love to have you on 9 o'clock live whenever you're free. It's usually around 8 p.m., 9 p.m. EST these days, so let us know if you'd like to jump on with us next week or the week after. You gonna rug us at some point, Al, or are you just?
Oh yeah, I'm holding
are you
over here.
Nuking your coffee or what?
Nope.